This is JilliBling, and tulips are in season. Look how pretty that is. Does it look a little familiar? Same type of colors? Or the white one, putting that back in the pot. White tulips. White tulips. Oh, they're just so pretty. But look at this. I know, this isn't card making, but they're just sitting here. They've been so pretty this whole week I've been working on. Is that just, can you even see all these white tulips? They're just so pretty. You can't see anything, unless I move the camera. But I've got two huge vases here. Look at that thing. Isn't that just beautiful? Anyhow, tulip inspiration going on here. So this is today's project. This I saw on Pinterest, and Joe Blackman made a card something similar to this, and I changed it just a little bit, but I love how she took the white tulips and did just a little bit of sponging to give color. And look at that. Joe Blackman. Joe Blackman does good work. I've admired her work a few times before. So for this project, and see how it's kind of a fun fold? We'll be using Flowering Tulips, and today is the last day of celebration. So we'll be using words from one of the sets that you can earn for free. With a $100 order, you could get that stamp set, all the words for free. We'll also be using tulip dies, ornate layer dies, and my favorite, hippo dies. Got these big flowers here. They're kind of making a wall right beside me. Woohoo! Okay, so here are pieces. So I will put this template on my blog. My blog is JilliBling.com, and it will, I'll take a picture of it so you'll know how to do it. But on your paper, this is 4 1/4 by 11. Score it 2 3/4, 4 1/8. Then flip the whole thing over and score it 2 3/4 and 4 1/8. And that will leave you with a standard size card. And hopefully your score lines are a little bit better than mine, because I have a gap in there, and I'm hoping that won't happen today. So here's the paper, and it's scored. So I'm just going to lightly fold it, because I might kind of try to move around some of these score lines if it doesn't. See, it's a gap again. Maybe my paper was just, maybe it's bigger than the 11. So with that said, if that ever happens to you, this is where it just naturally folds. I'm going to give it just a little tug. And I'm making sure that this part of the paper is lined up with the bottom part. And I'm kind of making the score line change just a little bit. But I figure if I do that all 4 times, maybe I could get it to where the 2 center pieces meet up. Maybe. Let's see if it's any better. A little bit better. And I have one more trick for if ever your score lines don't go exactly where you want them to. Oh, I think that was a good make up the difference. Oh, it's getting closer. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, that's a little better. Better at the bottom than at the top. Okay, so the trick is, if you score your paper, you followed all the directions, and you've got a big old gap that you don't think should be there, sometimes if you just turn everything the opposite direction, and score it the other way, this case it made it worse. So I'm going to stick with that. But sometimes it works and all of your little score lines match up right where they should. But even if they don't, this project is very forgiving. So on this paper right here, this is the mother of pearl paper. I love this. It's so pretty. So we're going to die cut it, and it's going to be the background. Okay, so that's going to go right here. My die cutting plates are very well loved, and they have a little bit of paper shards in them. Okay, so to start out, I would say just stick this down, but that would seal your card closed. But if you put it right in the middle, these little dots on the Ornate Layers die go right into the middle. So just so I know where to cut it, because I'm going to cut this right in the middle, I'm going to cut through these little dots, part of the die. So I cut through it right here, and then I cut through it the same down here. So I'm going to take my paper cutter and trim it. Okay, that looks good. So now the mother of pearl paper is ready to stick down. And I know this card is kind of white on white, but that's kind of what I like about it. It's very clean and crisp, and it makes those tulips show up beautifully. So this is my card number 5 of 5 using the Flowering Tulips Bundle. Okay, I want this to kind of bridge the gap. Put it right in the middle. And if you order the bundle through me before March 15th, I would love to send you all 5 of the card kits, so you can make all 5 of them. Okay, so there is the front. Ooh. This paper is for the thank you, and that is right here on this stamp. So in Versamark ink, take the stamp and stamp it. Might as well do 2. Somebody will appreciate that. I might not cut it out, but I'll have it stamped. Okay, I'm going to put this in white embossing powder. And then I'm going to heat it. And then I will cut out and get just the thank you. That one I didn't cook it all the way down there, so I'm going to make that gone. So just right along the edges, trim it. And you know, I have to admit, fussy cutting, it's not my favorite, but I don't very much dislike it. It's okay. Certainly wouldn't want to do it all day. But cutting this out, the white embossing on black paper, I found it to be very challenging. I'll show you why. Okay, so you saw me cut out just that little bit. because when you're cutting, it's hard to see the black where you're cutting. And if you don't get this little perimeter of black around the letters equal, kind of doesn't look really good. So I struggled with that, but I got it done. And when I critiqued this one, I could see that, yep, it's a little bit narrow there, a little bit wider here, oop, a short square cut there. But in the end, you won't notice all those little flaws. Okay, so let's see what else. These are inside papers. So these two papers right here are for this, from the hippo dies, that shape. And there's two papers because we're going to use brush butterflies. Love them. Two papers because there's two different sizes here, and when these nest together and you cut it out, that's what makes the frame, and I'll show you the frame in just a minute. And then you'll want to take out the small one, and on your second paper cut just the big one. So cutting the two of them together makes this frame right here, and then this piece is the second one with just the big die cut. So let me find that. So this one we don't need, but this is what we need. So these two are the exact same size, and then there's the window cut through here. Okay. So this piece, the frame, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side. The dimensionals have to be kind of small. So that's when this edging comes in handy. Don't want it to stick out over. It's a little bit tedious, but having that shadow there, and in the end, it looks really nice. So I'll hold this up in just a minute. Not that it's that hard, but I just want to show you so you don't have questions. It doesn't take much. See how I'm doing just a tiny little bit of the dimensional? You know, as I was cutting this, I thought, you know, Stampin' Up! Makes that sheet of dimensionals. I should have used that on this frame piece. What were we doing? Oh, the stamp set hugs, or sending hugs. We used it on that. That's a tiny little piece, but that's all it takes. It's like a whole sheet of dimensionals with no cuts in it. It's just a sheet, just a plain old sheet. Okay, last one. Oh, I'm getting good at cutting them small now. Okay, so I'll take off all these little papers. Maybe. Done. So tiny. Running out of fingers. Done. One more. Okay. So this goes right on top. I'm going to focus on that bottom corner and this bottom corner, and now just let it fall. Hopefully it's good. Right there, that's a little bit off, but that'll be fine. Okay, So this is going to go right onto here. You know what? I should use my Stampin' Seal. That's kind of a stronger hold. Okay, so I know that it's going to be right in the center is where the seam is. So I want to go up to the center. So I put adhesive from here to here. And lastly, I'll put a little bit, I know it'll be covered right there. So I have just a little bit from here to here. And then I'd say 1/3 of this back side. Okay, time to get it in the center. And you know, when things stick to this pearl paper, they really stick. So just beware. Okay, it's coming together. Okay, so now for the little flowers. Let's see, we did this on the mother of pearl. We did the frame. So all these pieces, I will show you about all of these pieces. And I'm going to cut it out on just plain white paper. So there's that one that goes with this one, this one. Leaves have to stamp first. This one gets one of these. And this, did I put it on here? This one I didn't put it on. On the other cards I did. And you know what? After making this card compared to the others, I figured out how to do this closed up tulip the right way. I have it upside down on all the others. Oops. Okay, and then the stem. So stamp 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves, and I'm choosing to use big leaf, little leaf. Only the little leaf this time. So 4 of those, 3 flowers, so 3 stems. And then I'm going to choose one of these, because see how I have an extra one on the inside? Oh, I like that one. So then I'll do one extra of this. So I have that done. So stamp the leaves, and all the flowers are just in plain white. So here's all those pieces. And it'll make sense here in just a minute. Okay, so the leaves, those just get tucked in at the end. A stem. This is my favorite one today. So there'll be 2 of those. Or is this one? I don't know. They're all nice. Oop, I'm shaking it up this time. There's different ones. So this is for the inside over here. And these are for the front. And this one is okay. I don't think you could do wrong on putting these together. On all the other cards, I use this oval piece on each one of them. And I still just might do that. So this one, the Flirty Flamingo one, this one here is that one. So I'll trade these. And this one, oh, I'm so confused. Where's the little guy? This one is the little guy. the middle one. Okay. So can you see? Yellow, Daffodil Delight, Pale Papaya, and Flirty. Okay, so on the inside, how about if we do Pale Papaya? Because on the inside of this one, it was Daffodil. Okay, so just set these off to the side. So sponging. I have a little tip on sponging. First of all, sponges, see how much ink is on here right now. Because with this project, the less ink, the softer your image. So I'm going to do these two in yellow, and when you fold it, see how it looks? This one has a little bit of a chunk right there, so I'm going to kind of move it over. Boy, I'm really messing with score lines today. And now that I scooched it over, you don't see that little bump. But if you do see it, just take your snips and just trim it. Like see on this one, how there's that little bit? If I kind of push it over, okay. Okay, so that's good. So let's start with the yellow. That's this one. And when you fold it in, and this kind of has a funny rough edge because it was the underside of the die. I found if you take your bone folder and just kind of smush along that, it makes it a little bit smoother. And the reason that matters is because when we do the sponging, because when it's folded up like this, we want to sponge just a little bit of that. If there was that rolled over lip, that would collect all the ink. So I want just a little bit of yellow. Daffodil Delight, just a hint of it. And then I wanted heavy ink at the bottom, going to light almost nothing at the top. So there's some, and then I'll make it a little bit lighter at the top, almost white. I might need some more ink, just a little bit. Because right when you ink it, get fresh ink on there, many times it leaves a bit of a pattern from the sponge pattern, and it's not as smooth, as soft, as if it was almost running out of ink. And after you play with this and you go to do your second flower, you'll say, I know what she's talking about. Okay, so ink heavier at the bottom. I might make it a little bit darker still. And almost white at the top. Oops, if you fold it, it's okay. So then the same with this one. Heavy at the bottom and light, almost white at the top. And I know the difference from the bottom to the top because this has like the petal top pattern to the die cut. And I know a lot of this will be tucked inside of the flower, so you won't see it, but just in case. Okay. So let's try assembling the Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to use liquid glue at the bottom and then a dimensional at the top. So bottom has all the ink on it. Let me see how this is going to, where it will show. Right about there. Then, oh, I should have put the dimensional on it. Okay, liquid glue, then dimensional right in here. And I know part of the dimensional will show through to the back. Okay, maybe not. And that's okay if it did. And then on this bigger flap, how about a dimensional right here? Hope I need something to hold that down. Okay, flower number 1 done. So when looking at the sample, see how my stems go? This flower is leaning to the left, this flower is pretty much straight up, and the Flirty Flamingo is leaning to the right. So to make this flower lean to the left, I'm going to flip the stem upside down, because the stem has a curve naturally. This is the top. It naturally goes to the right. But this time I'm going to flip it over and put it right there about. And I'm putting it, oh, convenient, dimensional. I'm putting it a little bit higher because I know I'm going to have to cut off the stems. Like, see how it's way up here? And also, I put it up higher because the middle part of the stem is thinner than the bottom. See how wide this is? Okay, so 1 flower done. So next, let's do Pale Papaya. First of all, how much ink is on there? Not much at all. So Pale Papaya, here is the petals. It goes this way. And as I fold that just naturally, see how there's a bit of a gap? See how there's a gap right over there? I'm going to move the score line or push this over here. See if I could do it without my bone folder. And then score it, because now this little piece goes perfectly smooth along the edge. And then the same thing with this over here. There's a bit of a gap, but if I kind of manipulate the score line, I can make it a really pretty, perfect little tulip. Okay, so with that, now these two are perfectly lined up. Good on that side. This side is good too. And now, on the inside, this part here, I'm just going to flatten with my bone folder because I don't want it to collect all that ink. Okay, Pale Papaya. Not good. Had to make it a little bit softer. So, start over here. And it's okay. Tulips naturally have some streaks in them, like those orange-red ones do. So, the streaks happen, that's okay. But as the ink runs out, as it's doing right now, it's getting softer and softer, and now I could start to fill in a little bit of color at the top. But I still want it to remain darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. Okay, and I'm not worried about the ink getting over into this center section because that's going to be the back side attached to the card. Ooh, lots of color there. Okay, that one's going to be dark. I'll just try to soften it up when the ink starts running out. And you know what? Whenever you do whoopses like that, many times it ends up being your favorite. So just see how that all works out. And this will be the top. So just a hint of color. Okay. And boy, I just feel the need to keep inking that up. And I think most of the center one is hidden. But just in case. Okay, so I think we're done with papaya. So let's try to build this thing. Oh, it goes this way because these are the flower tops. So this will go here. I'm just testing it at first. I have that gap. Might have to, I think once I put the adhesive on it, whether it be dimensionals or the glue, I could push it right into place. This one, okay, so this piece, this little insert is going to have to go way down at the bottom, way over here. Okay, I have a plan. Liquid glue, dimensional, this piece goes way over into this corner. Okay, before everything dries, let me check. Good, that covers everything up. Okay, don't see very much of that, but that's okay. When I put the dimensionals on, you'll probably see it more. It's kind of bugging me how there's the white showing. Therefore, I'm going to trim it. Look at that, it fits perfectly now. Okay, so this one I think I'll do liquid glue at the bottom and just let that naturally flap up. And then this other one, it will get double dimensional. Okay, right there. And about right here. That looks good. Okay, so I could just sit here and hold it, or if you have this or binder clip, it can hold it for me for just a few minutes. Okay, flower number 2. And this one is going to be in Flirty Flamingo. So again, where the score line is, fold it. That one goes together easy. Oh, there's a little bit of a, either I'll trim that or I'll try to adjust the fold, the score line. I think adjusting that turned out good. And now, my bone folder, get rid of that ridge. Okay, Flirty Flamingo. See how much ink is on here. Oh, that might be enough. It's nice because it's real soft. And then, heavy at the bottom, and softer, almost nothing at the top. Okay, and then to do the front of the flower, heavy at the bottom, I don't like my finger line right there. Where's Flamingo? Oh, it's brand new. Just gotta love Stampin' Spots. These I get in Paper Pumpkin. I keep every last one of them, because you never know. Let me check. Flirty Flamingo? Flirty. You don't know how many times I've put the wrong re-inker onto the wrong stamp pad. Gotta check. Okay, I think that's good. Oh, we have to do the inside. I think I was going to do that in papaya. I don't know, this flirty is kind of pretty. Oh, that's the same as this one. Oh, this one has a different. Okay, let's do this one. Try not to have finger marks. Okay, so these flowers are going to be different because this one has the heart shape, the V shape piece, and the other one just has the oval. It's kind of fragile, this one. Just a hint of color. Okay, so now I think we're done with the sponging. My fingers say we're done with sponging. They're all dirty. Okay, so let's build these flirty flamingo pieces. Fold that over. Adjust the fold. Maybe trim it a little bit. It's like there's a bump. Don't want no bump. Okay. Then, that's cute. Okay. So, traditional fashion, glue at the bottom. And a dimensional. Then this one will go over the top. I think I might move that because I don't see very much of that second part of the V. There, that's better. So I'll put glue at the bottom and dimensionals on this piece. This one might need a little clip too. Put one right here, just because that little petal is big enough to hold it. I don't like how the white is showing through right there. Well, I think it just wants to show through. Okay, I need another clip. Balloon clip. Okay, and one more. Oh, so this is the same but different. Same outside piece. And then this one has the oval. Ooh, that's pretty. Look how vibrant that is. That's pretty too. I don't think you could do wrong with these flowers. However you put them together, they're just cute as can be. If I had one more hand, I would do so much better. 2 hands is kind of minimal. Okay, flower done. That one? I guess the other one I put glue at the bottom. Okay. Sponges, ink pads, leaves and stems. We could put the stems on. Okay, which one is for the inside? How about this one, the softer one? That go on the inside. Pale papaya. Isn't that cute? Okay. So, after making the other cards, I found that if you use mini dimensionals in the back of your flowers, just a little bit, 2 at the max for right now, and they're just at the bottom. The reason I'm doing that is because when I go to tuck the leaves and the I guess it's just leaves, and then try to arrange them, it's better if there's less dimensionals. Like if I use big dimensionals filled up the whole back, I couldn't tuck the leaves in. So less is more. It makes it easier, more easy to work with. Cute. That one has just one. That one's fine for now. I'll put more on there as we go. Okay, I think it's time to start building this thing. That's inside, inside. So how about we start with the yellow one? That can go about, maybe I'll change them up this time. This one, well, the direction of the, I'm going to stick with it. The direction that I put the stems on, that matters. So at this point, I'm just setting it on there, even though I know it needs more adhesive, but I'm trying to get the stem to be right toward the center. Just like that. Okay, and now for the leaves. There's 4 leaves, so just lay them out how you think they look good, and then you can move them about. So when you look at the leaves, there's one side that's curved, kind of bowed, and the other side that's straight. Looking at my daffodils over here, I think it's better to have the straight toward the plant. But as I look at them right now, from the other side, it doesn't matter. So this one I want to get way into there. Okay, something like that. But I'm going to pull up this pale papaya so I could tuck that one in. Just like that. Okay. So I like how that's looking. Don't like how it's moving. Hold on there, tulips. Okay, so now it's time to start sticking stuff down. So I'm going to start with this leaf right here. And with the rest of the card, it seems to be my trend lately, I like to put on a mini dimensional, or it can be a big one at this point, at the end, and then liquid glue where it attaches to the bottom, to the stems. Just like that. Okay, what's next? I think the problem is this guy right here, because he's loose. So this one I'll put on all with liquid glue. And then maybe looking at the back side of the flower, I probably could use more dimensionals. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to trim off all these stems in just a minute. So this one seems to be on pretty good, but I know that I was trying to keep it minimal how many dimensionals I use, so I'll just add a few more to this flirty flamingo one. Okay, and finally, these two leaves. So that one I'll do with glue and dimensional. I don't know if I'm doing the right side. I don't know that it matters, so it's fine. It's good. It's kind of pretty going over the frame. And then finally, this one can be all dimensional. Three dimensionals. Trying to tuck it underneath papaya. Maybe a little bit shorter because that flirty flamingo flower is so pretty. Okay, there it's going to stay. Okay, so next is these get a trim right here at the edge of the frame. Haircut. And hold those down because I know I didn't put any adhesive on any of them. Just a little bit of liquid glue. And it's okay if that's a little sloppy because the words are going to cover that. So where are those words that I so struggled with? Thank you. Isn't that cute? Okay, because there's so many layers of stems and leaves, this is raised up here a little bit. So I'm going to put liquid glue across there and then just a portion of a dimensional on the tops of the words. So liquid glue, just a little strip. And I'm fine if that starts to dry. And then a half a dimensional. This card, you would think, oh, it's just a little sponging on those flowers. Well, I think it's one of the trickier ones. But it's so pretty. Don't let it stop you from doing it. Don't you get great feedback when you give someone a card? It's like, you made this? No way. They don't know that we spent 2 hours on one card, but that's okay. Okay, so thank you. Okay, I'm seeing my glue through there, but it's okay because it dries clear. So just get it centered. Okay. And then this part has to remain floating, but we can attach this little swirly bit up here. Okay. That could just attach to those petals and leaves. I guess it's leaves and stems. Okay, and that part will just stay floating. So I glued that one down but this is just loose. Okay, so all that's left for the front is flutters. So I will put on one big one. I wonder if the layout is going to be different. Okay, one big one goes up here, then two little ones. Just because of how I placed the leaves, there might not be as much room. Okay, they're going on in different areas. Oh, it could be right there on the daffodil one. He likes that daffodil one. Okay, so for the inside, which is going to be really easy. So this one I had the butterflies, two on here and then one on there. Just a card to say you're amazing. I like that. So that's going to go on the inside. We need to stamp a stem and a couple of leaves. That's done in Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz. I'll make it just a little bit short so there's room to write. And then the grading can go in Memento Tuxedo Black. Might need to re-ink that. Or maybe not. It looks great. And then this can go on with liquid glue. Okay, just attach these layers. Right in the middle. Oh, I like the flirty flamingo one on the inside. Okay, there it is. Look at that. Aren't we fancy? I would love getting a card like that. To me, that's just so happy. Okay, that's it for today, and that's it for Flowering Tulips. On to the next one. Yay! Have a great day. Bye.